Hi guys, so today we are doing a subscriber body typing and color typing as well as essence. So if you are completely new here and you don't know what's going on, then I have a ton of videos on my channel about all kinds of things, body typing, color typing, essence, and everything in between. So you can take a look around, and if you are still confused about any of that, then I also offer typings through my website, and you can take a look at the links below or go to miriamstyle.com. And the essence is included in the full report. So the full report is the one that includes the essence, and then the other ones are color typing and body typing. So one more thing I have to say before we get into this is that these photos that you're going to see in this video are photos that were submitted through the website specifically for YouTube videos and other Miriam style content. These are not photos from clients. Like if you were to book with me through the website, your photos are always private. So these photos were volunteered, and if you want to be included in one of these videos, you can volunteer your photos too and just go to the website and upload some photos. And so let's say thank you to this lady for volunteering her photos, and let's get into it. All right, so here is the first picture of this lady. So from here, what I'm seeing right away is she does look like she's most likely petite, like she has short lines, and she also has some softness to her bone structure. Like I don't really see, her shoulders look pretty soft and rounded. They don't look like they are sharp or like there's any sharpness even underneath her physique. Her overall shape of her facial bone structure is also pretty soft and rounded. Her cheekbones are soft and rounded. Her jawline is soft and rounded. And so and her facial features are full, and her figure is soft and curvy. So overall, I would go for a rounded bone structure type, or a can be romantic for her body type. Now, with this lady in particular, if she were my client, I would ask for more photos, just because I don't believe that I got that many full-length photos of her. So and vertical line and how long the lines are is one of the trickiest thing to tell with photos. So I like to have a lot of different photos to be able to tell vertical line. But sometimes it can really come out and it can be obvious. But sometimes with something like this, we could say, well, maybe she maybe has some slightly longer, things can happen like that. Maybe she's blended soft, maybe from short lines to moderate lines, things like that. But I would say really from this photo, I'm not seeing blended soft at all. I would just ask for more photos for due diligence, but I'm really seeing a rounded bone structure type for her. And for her color type, I'm seeing warm and radiant. Warm and radiant, and a high contrast. And so a lot of times I've actually noticed that, like this type of coloration, right, where there's like the olive skin, the warm and radiant, and then paired with the shorter lines, people who could be from India, from Pakistan, anywhere in that area, anywhere in that region, they tend to have a lot of warm undertones. Now, of course, and a lot of olive, of course, they're mostly olive in those areas, but they tend to have a lot of warm undertones, even warm and radiant. They look beautiful in those warm reds, in the gold, and in the warm purples, just like she looks here. And a lot of the time they can get a little bit confused because they are warm and radiant but high contrast, so that kind of puts them technically even into an autumn category for color type. But of course, autumn colors would not work for them at all because they are rounded or maybe mixed for their bone structure type, like either maybe a gamine type of bone structure, a romantic type of bone structure, theatrical romantic, things like that. Not going to work at all with those heavy earth tones, but the color type itself calls for heavy earth tones. Sometimes what I see color analysts do is they will place people like this who are clearly warm, you'll see in the other photos, into cool and radiant, into like a winter type. And so what ends up happening is that people with her coloring will sometimes be placed into these cool and radiant colors, and what happens is they look fine in cool and radiant colors because they're warm and radiant. They look great in everything except for gray. Gray, don't wear that if you're warm and radiant, but really they look fine in everything. They just look golden. So they're even better off wearing, let's say, a royal blue than this really deep terracotta or a deep warm burgundy or a deep olive green, those deep, heavy earth tones, sometimes because of their body types. And so anyway, this kind of like type of coloration and body type together, of course, every area of the world has every body type. Every area of the world has every color type. You can be warm olive, you can be cool olive. Certainly, okay, so I'm not saying everyone in that area of the world has shorter lines. Actually, that reminds me, one time I had a client who was like shorter, quote unquote. She was like 5'6", okay, but all of her friends were literally 5'10", and she was in one of these northern countries, I forgot which one, like some Scandinavian country. And she was like, well, I thought I was mixed. I thought I was like gamine, so to speak. Because she looks petite next to her friends, but then when she wears those lines, she is just as much of a sharpened type, as any other sharpened type. It's like she was very flattered by sharpened lines, those long lines, those geometrics. And it to her, she was like, oh, well, I'm small and short or something. But in reality, she was still pretty tall. So that just goes to show that there are variations in the body types. There are variations in height. So many different things can happen all over the world. And I haven't really seen, that one area has exclusively one body type or anything like that. I get that question sometimes, or exclusively one color type. But anyway, but with her, I'm really happy she submitted photos because, this is kind of like a common situation that I see, that someone who is high contrast like that, who is warm and radiant, and, the color analyst will try what the person clearly looks warm, right? What is the color analyst going to try? Well, they're going to try the warm bright colors, but then they're also going to try the warm earth tones, and that's not going to work. I mean, she's not like a spring, right? I mean, she's not a spring, and she doesn't have like the lighter features. She's not an autumn because she doesn't look good in autumn colors. So there's nothing really left to put her in. Obviously, you could never put her into summer. That would be a complete disaster. So you have to put her into winter, royal blues, cool purples, pure black. Now, again, that wouldn't be bad, because she's very high contrast, so she could wear pure black. She's warm and radiant, so she could easily wear royal blue. She's just going to look more golden. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't have her best colors still. That doesn't mean that the yellow gold doesn't light her up. That doesn't mean that this warm, bright purple doesn't light her up. That doesn't mean that warm fire engine red isn't much, much better than a fuchsia, like a cool fuchsia. Now, I will say that warm fuchsia for her, warm fuchsia, warm bright purple, obviously yellow, any sort of bright salmon color, orange, all going to be beautiful on her. Stay away from earth tones. For makeup, go for bright colors too. Go for warm, bright reds. So you can see here, like, I think that she is most likely a rounded bone structure type, so she can do pastels, okay? So the pastels here, the light ivory color of the top or the dress would probably work fine. But the thing is that this is kind of an indication to me that she is a rounded bone structure type, because I'd really like to see her in some brighter colors, some warmer colors, and things that are more lightweight. So the finish of the makeup being very dewy instead of matte, and the eyeshadow having some sparkle and sheen to it instead of being matte. So overall, more color, more brightness, more dewiness to the finish, more sparkle. But then on the other hand, rounded can also do these soft colors as well. But the key is, if you are a rounded type and you are doing soft colors, to go for a very dewy makeup look. So we're thinking about soft and sparkly, not soft and neutral and matte. So as a rounded type, you can definitely do a no makeup look. You can definitely do neutrals for your makeup colors but the neutrals really ideally would be very light, and you want to still add some color to the cheeks, maybe some color to the lip, of course. And that's going to be a no makeup look on you. It's not going to look like you're wearing that much makeup at all. And the key to all of this is going for a dewy look, for a sparkly look, not going for a matte look. So you can do no makeup, you can do neutrals. Just go for the finishes being sparkly and dewy. That was a really long way of saying it. But yeah, so if you, the whole thing with this is that, you know, I can understand some rounded types, romantics, they want to go for those softer colors, and I think those look beautiful on them, so they can do that, or they can do the bright colors too for makeup. But always dewy, always sparkly. Yeah, so here, you know, you can see she does look like she is, of course, like the photo is taken from way above, and, you know, I would really want some more full body photos to really confirm her type. But, you know, even here, I think that, let's say you could say, oh, look, well, how about mixed-taut, like flamboyant-gamine, for her, or something like that. You know, why not? You know, maybe a short, like compact shape or something like that. Now, I would say no, because this kind of makeup would actually just look not heavy on mixed-taut, and for me, I'm seeing a lot of softness, a lot of delicateness to her, and this makeup is a bit more for an angled bone structure, so someone like mixed-taut. So this photo for me kind of rules out mixed-taut for the most part. Yeah, so because this is exactly like mixed-taut, like flamboyant-gamine, so to speak, makeup recommendations. But yeah, so here, you know, we see some shorter lines. I'm seeing some small hands. So, you know, I'm seeing, and of course, warm. She still looks pretty warm. That warm blue, you know, I think she really has an intuition for the colors that look beautiful on her. Like that warm blue is just beautiful on her. Yeah, so that is, again, you know, she looks like she is warm and radiant, and probably a rounded bone structure type. Here again, you know, I would say you can see some softness to her. The color type you can't really tell from this photo because the lighting looks very, very cool toned. But yeah, I'm seeing some softer lines to her overall, some curves, some softness, some short lines. So yeah, and yeah, so here again, you know, you can still see she does have overall a softer bone structure type, and she has that warm coloration. And I think she does have a touch of ethereal essence, but overall I would probably place her more into even a romantic essence, really very feminine, very soft. Certainly here she has a touch of ethereal, you know, but you know, in the gaze, something about it, I think that looks really beautiful too, like maybe a touch of ethereal. But I do really like, you know, the idea of a romantic style essence to her. So, you know, those very feminine looks, those bright colors, a waist definition, anything like that. So yeah, so here again you can see she's warm, she's wearing all of her colors, and she looks like she has some soft bone structure. Now I will say that it really doesn't matter. So, you know, with a rounded bone structure type, like in body geometry, a rounded bone structure type, and the difference between, let's say, you could say, well, look, like a rounded bone structure type versus a blended soft, you know, like the sort of kibby romantic versus kibby soft classic. Like how do you tell a rounded type from blended soft? And that's in body geometry, that's really the bone structure. And especially you can tell, first of all, you know, the lines being of moderate length, that's definitely one thing. The vertical line being moderate, the limbs being of moderate length, things like that. But also what really is a telltale thing for me is the facial bone structure. You know, the facial bone structure being very, very soft for a rounded bone structure type. The rounded bone structure type has such a rounded bone structure that it doesn't matter what kind of physique you put on top of it, it will still look soft and rounded. You see, it's kind of like if you have a rounded shape, you know, you are going to, if you put something soft over it, it'll look rounded. If you put something really thin over it and taut over it, it'll still look rounded. So it really doesn't matter if a rounded type has soft physique or even soft facial features. Sometimes it really doesn't tend to matter as much, as long as that bone structure doesn't have any angles to it and is very delicate and soft. You're going to be a rounded type pretty much no matter what. Whereas blended soft, blended has those blended bones. They have more moderate bones to their facial bone structure. And that's what makes them look a little bit over the top in, they both have the soft facial features, but blended soft will look over the top in a lot of intricate detailing. And that's because of their bone structure. That's not necessarily because their facial features are not as full as some rounded types' facial features, if not even more full sometimes, depending on the person. But still, it's the bone structure that will make the difference. So yeah, here I'm seeing the same thing, like for the bone structure. I think she has a pretty soft and delicate bone structure. I think she's small and petite. and the pure black, like, it does look a tiny bit harsh on her because she is warm and radiant, but at the same time, it still works. It works okay, really. I mean, it works okay. I wouldn't tell her, never wear black. Certainly she has her best colors, and her best colors, like we discussed, are these, warm reds. Warm fuchsia is going to be beautiful. Golden yellow, warm red, warm purple, warm blue. Black accents can work. So anything like that. And gold jewelry, just gold jewelry. If you really want to do like a soft look, I would go for a very dewy makeup look with sparkle and some pastels. You can do that, but I really love to see you in these bright colors. So that is it. I would say that her essence is really I see a little bit of romantic essence to her. Let me know what you guys think. And I would say that her body type, it has short lines and some soft and delicate angles, and so that makes her a rounded bone structure type, a rounded body type. And her color type is warm and radiant and high contrast, but her color recommendations are very altered by her body type, by her line recommendations. Alright, so that is it for this lady. Alright, you guys, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments down below, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. And if you want to be included in one of these videos, then you can submit photos through miriamstyle.com. And if you are still confused about your body type or color type or essence, I also offer typings through my website, and I will leave a link to those down below. And that is it, you guys. Let's say thank you to this lady for volunteering her photos, and I will talk to you next time.